And whatever happens, we will continue that research.
Senator Baldwin.
Thank you, Chair Capito. Secretary Kennedy, very quickly, when I ask you for information or my staff asks your staff for information, do you commit to responding?
Yes, Senator, of course.
And when might I expect a detailed operational plan? I've referenced in my opening statement the fact that 530 programs or activities, when you provided that information, had an asterisk in place of a dollar amount. When might I expect the detailed plan? When?
As I explained to you, those decisions are being made by OMB. And
So you're really not in charge of the spend plan
this is not a HHS issue. It's a government-wide issue.
Okay, so the Secretary of HHS is not in charge of the spend plan for 2025. I'm going to move on. Research funded by the National Institutes of Health has pioneered the development of new technologies and cutting-edge treatments, including immunotherapies that are saving lives and giving millions of Americans suffering from devastating diseases more hope and more time with their families. Last week, American doctors made history with the world's first successful personalized gene editing treatment in a 9.5-month-old baby boy, curing him of a rare, life-threatening genetic disorder. This technology is miraculous, and it was made possible by NIH research. According to the American Cancer Society, NIH-funded cancer research saved 3.5 million lives between 1991 and 2019 and reduced the overall cancer death rate by 33%. Congress has spent nearly 100 years building up the world's premier biomedical research agency to develop state-of-the-art treatments that wouldn't have been thinkable just decades ago. And in just 100 days, this administration is starting to tear it all down. NIH has awarded nearly $3 billion less in funding. So the graph on on my right, $3 billion less in funding compared to the same period last year. That's more than 3,200 fewer grants. These grants are being withheld. This includes funding for everything from cancer to Alzheimer's disease to rare disease research. Secretary Kennedy, whose decision is it to withhold thousands of grants and billions in funding for life-saving medical research at NIH?
I can tell you, Senator Baldwin, that gene therapy and cell therapy is a priority for me and for Marty McCary, who's the FDA director. We are going to ensure that this country remains the hub of gene therapy.
That wasn't my
question.
Secretary Kennedy, whose decision is it to withhold thousands of grants and billions in funding for life-saving medical research at NIH that we approved on a bipartisan basis in this subcommittee?
We are not abandoning any life-saving research at NIH.
Is it DOGE reviewing NIH funding opportunity announcements? Is it DOGE reviewing NIH grant award?
We've got administrators, we're cutting waste, we're cutting duplicative programs.
You're funding $3 billion less in biomedical research than you did a year prior.
We're spending less on administration of those programs.
3,200 fewer grants.
We're spending, well, many of the grants were terminated because they were grants that were not advancing.
These aren't grants terminated. These are grants not awarded because the panels weren't convened.
We spend 70% of the world's biomedical research out of NIH, 70%, and we're the sickest country in the world.
$18 billion or 40% from the NIH budget slow the development of new treatments and cures?
And we are the sickest country in the world, so that money has not been well spent. We've had a 38% increase in our agency, growth in our agency over the past 4 years.
I'll ask you, is funding for Alzheimer's disease research centers DEI? because you're holding up $65 million for 14 of those centers in 9 states, including the University of Wisconsin-Madison? Is funding for cancer centers DEI, because you're holding up $47 million in cancer center support grants at 9 cancer centers in 8 states? Is funding for rare disease research DEI, because you're holding up $55 million for 11 rare disease clinical research network grants in 8 states? These are just a few examples, and the list goes on and on, Secretary Kennedy. I've run out of time. I yield back.
Thank you.
This is a fun game we're playing.